What are some of the key texts? Well, it's always good to know what the Shema was. Every good Jewish person in the days of Jesus would get up first thing in the morning and they would repeat the Shema, which begins in Deuteronomy 6:4. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is our God, Yahweh is one. Now, it's important that you be able to recognize in your English translations the name Yahweh. It's also called the TETRAGRAMMITON. TETRAGRAMMITON means 4 letters. You see it there in Hebrew, Yahweh. We slaughter it in English as Jehovah. That's actually a Germanic pronunciation that really isn't possible as having been the original pronunciation. But when you see it in most of your English Bibles, you will see it printed L-O-R-D. The O and the R and the D will be in capital forms, but a smaller font size, instead of a standard O-R-D. So in the Old Testament, which it appears almost 6,000 times in the Old Testament, when you see L-O-R-D in all caps, you're seeing the Tetragrammaton Yahweh. If you see, for example, Lord God, and God is in all caps, that'll be Adonai Yahweh, Adonai meaning Lord, the regular word for Lord. If you see Lord God and Lord's in capitals and God is not, that's Yahweh Elohim, Elohim the word for God. This is a specific name identifying the covenant God of Israel. And the Jehovah's Witnesses have a point that our modern Bible translations do not actually translate the term, they hide the term, because the Jews would not pronounce the divine name. And in fact, if you walk into a Jewish bookstore today, you can really get yourself in trouble if you use the divine name. I had a professor in Bible college who knew Hebrew. He was invited to a synagogue, and since they knew he knew Hebrew, they invited him to read the text. And he forgot about that little rule and went ahead and read it as it actually is, rather than substituting. When the Jews today read the Hebrew, they will either substitute Adonai for Yahweh, or they will use Hashem, the name. He forgot about that and said Yahweh, and they were extremely offended and never invited him back. So that's something you don't want to do.